now joined by the new Environment Secretary Therese Coffey, who is Health Secretary under Liz Truss for just over a month. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us this morning. I mean, yes, you were Health Secretary, you're also Deputy Prime Minister, so there's been a bit of an about turn, all change, hasn't there? Are you a bit miffed at this?
Well, the process has happened. I'm happy to serve as the DEFRA Secretary, Environment Secretary under our new Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak. I spent 3 years in DEFRA as an Environment Minister, so it's good to go back and hit the ground running on delivering important matters, whether it's for farmers, our food industries, or indeed on our environment.
And we know that Liz Truss is a friend of yours. It's obviously, it must have been a difficult time coming to an abrupt end like that for her after such a short amount of time. Have you spoken to her? How is she?
Indeed, I have, but Liz is resilient. It's half-term this week. I know a lot of families will be together, and I'm pleased that she's able to get that break with her family. But I know that she will be continuing to represent her constituents in South West Norfolk, and indeed, I'm sure, continue to be a champion of good conservative values.
I mean, how does it feel, though, being a part of all of this turmoil, the public looking in and thinking, what on earth is going on with government? People around the world, it's making headlines. It's been an embarrassment, hasn't it?
Well, I understand that this uncertainty has not helped, and we've now moved into a different administration. You know, I'm sure that many families will still be no longer have to think about whether they turn on the heating this winter, thanks to things like the energy price guarantee. It's important that we continue to focus on the things that matter to people in their everyday lives. And I know that our Prime Minister and indeed all the government will get right into that as well.
Therese Coffey, you know, we're really grateful that you come on to the show, I have to say, because not many people in your position always do, and you've always been willing to come on this show. But people sat at home now, in their living rooms, in their kitchens, watching this, have seen you over the last 12 months telling us that Boris Johnson is the best man for the job, seen you talking about work and pensions. Then they've seen you talk about Liz Truss being the best woman for the job, and then suddenly you're in charge of health. And now, 45 days since then, you're now saying, I suppose, that Sunak is the best man for the job, and you're now going to tell us about the environment. Can you see how it looks to them that actually they can't... I don't think anyone can think of any other industry or workplace in the world that somebody would be able to just switch jobs so freely and have different people at the head of the company. I mean, it is quite chaotic. What do you think people at home are thinking right now?
Well, I expect they're thinking that they'd like a government to get on with the job of governing, and you know, I'm very conscious that other matters led to Boris Johnson deciding to resign. Liz Truss is my closest friend in politics. I share her focus on trying to get growth in our economy to make families more prosperous. I'm conscious also of what has happened just within the last 10 days. And importantly, I'm here I've gone back to a department where I had achieved a lot for the environment, and I'm pleased to be doing that and taking on that role again as the Secretary of State, so running the department. But nevertheless, I'm conscious that what people are looking for is more stability and certainty, and I hope that we will continue to deliver that.
But there are reports that there's not much stability and certainty at the moment. I mean, we were speaking to Lindsay Hoyle earlier, who said there is an investigation taking place about some serious bullying and manhandling going on. We saw and heard about scenes regarding the fracking vote, and you've been said that you were at the centre of that. Exactly what happened then? Do you admit and do you accept that they were quite ugly scenes right in the Houses of Commons at such a critical time, and you were seen being at the centre of it?
No, I don't accept that at all. And frankly, you know, I'm not going to dwell on these things. People have posted things I believe to be libellous. What I did is to vote for the government on that day in terms of what had been turned into effectively a vote of confidence by shenanigans by the Labour Party. You know, frankly, the way they behave just shows they're not fit to govern at all when we're in these difficult times.
So are you saying that Chris Bryant MP, Shadow Minister Anne McMorrin, and Labour Shadow Scottish Secretary Ian Murray, have all said they've never seen scenes like it? They saw people in tears. That all three of them are making it up. I'm not going to get into comments about
what other people like Chris Bryant say. He's supposed to be the chairman of the Committee of Standards at the moment. Already I've spoken to the Sergeant at Arms, and I'm sure many other people have, and I'm not going to replay that.
But just to clarify, you were not involved in any manhandling? You didn't manhandle anybody? Or
absolutely not.
Did you point your fingers aggressively at anyone?
Absolutely not.
Right. OK.
Well, we'll wait to see. I mean, yeah, as we say, there's an investigation into it, so I'm sure we'll get more details on exactly what went on when that happened. Something else that we need to talk to you about is Suella Braverman and her reappointment as Home Secretary. You know, this has upset a lot of people, hasn't it? Her reappointment. There are calls for an investigation into potentially a number of security breaches, not just the one that she lost her job over, or for Rishi Sunak to explain this reappointment. There are concerns about how it could impact on national security, how other countries might not share secure data with us as a consequence of what's going on here. You know, is her position tenable?
Well, I think that the Prime Minister obviously will have gone through this week, and considering the appointment of Suella to be Home Secretary, he's clearly satisfied that what has happened is now dealt with, and wants to make sure that we get on the focus that most people are concerned about the small boats crossings, about the illegal migrations, and all the other matters that are affecting people with antisocial behaviour around the country and cracking down on crime. Clearly, the Prime Minister has confidence in our Home Secretary to get on with those important tasks, and she will continue for that to be her main focus. Yeah,
but Jake Berry, former Tory party chairman, and not so long ago he was Tory party chairman, has said there have been multiple breaches. I mean, this isn't just... It doesn't seem like it's just one incident, which is already quite a serious incident. I mean, we spoke to Jackie Smith earlier, former Home Secretary, who said she would never dream of doing what Suella Braverman has done, and she must go. There are a lot of people calling for her to go now and resign. Whether you like it or not, this is a real issue at the heart of government yet again, and this government under Sunak is barely a week old.
Look, I'm conscious that Suella left the government last week. That was deemed a sufficient breach of the ministerial code. I'm also absolutely sure that the Prime Minister will have satisfied himself that whatever happened there, lessons have been learned appropriately, and he has confidence in Suella in tackling these migration. I mean, frankly, people like Jackie Smith, that's the person who claimed her main residence was a room in her sister's flat while her family lived elsewhere in the country in a big house. So I'm not going to take lessons from other people.
Yeah, but we're talking about secure information here, aren't we? And when you're talking about what the public are concerned about, you know, they're concerned about government information being secure. They're concerned about, other countries and the security services having the confidence in the Home Secretary, a really key role. And if people don't have that confidence, then surely she can't keep her job.
The very strong relationships that we have with intelligence agencies around the world continue to be there because we share that global challenge of tackling things like the illegal invasion of Ukraine by Putin. I think that people in this country are particularly focused on the issues like the small boats crossing, the illegal migration, and that's why enhancing the relationship with the French, but also some of the arrangements that have been put in place to return people to Albania. Those are the sort of critical issues I believe people in this country want the Home Secretary to focus on.
But I do want to talk about this point because, when you have somebody who's resigned, like you said, only last week, and now he's back in government in the same post, there's hardly any time for anybody to reflect, let alone herself to think about what she's done. But then you have the Prime Minister talk about professionalism, accountability and integrity. What does he mean by that? What does he mean, therefore, by professionalism, accountability and integrity if he's bringing somebody back into the job who only resigned because she'd made a mistake last week?
Well, as I think the Prime Minister said the other day, the Home Secretary recognises she made a mistake. She paid the price for that last week. The Prime Minister satisfied himself that she can go back into that role. And, as I say, her focus will be about tackling criminals, sorting out the issues on the illegal crossings across the Channel and continuing to develop that relationship.
So if any of us ever do anything wrong and make a mistake, we just go, well, I'm going to resign, but can I have my job back in a week? Is that OK throughout the whole business and wherever we are? I've made a mistake, I'm going to resign, but can I have my job back next week?
I don't know the situation of exactly how that happened this week, but it's the Prime Minister gets to choose the government. He clearly will have satisfied himself that issue has been dealt with and indeed wants the Home Secretary to focus on the issues that do really matter to the people of this country in terms of tackling illegal migration and also crime on our streets.
Talking about issues that matter, obviously, the environment, climate change. As Environment Secretary, are you disappointed by Rishi Sunak, his decision not to attend COP27? it's a key time, isn't it? Surely he should be there representing our country.
Not at all. I mean, what normally happens with the climate conferences is that every 5 years there is a significant conference, and that's when heads of state and heads of government come together in order to make those big commitments.
Going to be there.
I don't know that President Biden is going to be there. I appreciate one newspaper may have mentioned that he may be going. I don't know if anything official has come out. But importantly, what happened in Glasgow last year was absolutely critical. The UK has had the presidency. We brought people together in order to make those commitments. The conferences in between every 5 years tend to be lower key, more focused on aspects of implementation. I'll be going as Environment Secretary. Some of my other colleagues will be going to go into particular themes on what it is that we need to try and make progress on these measures, but also about sharing how the UK is acting, but also on leadership on particular themes as too. So it's important that we go there, but I think that it's a case of every 5 years is when the normal elements come together. Big figures come together, and indeed the Prime Minister has been very clear. Given that we have delayed the medium-term fiscal plan until the 17th of November, he wants to work with the Chancellor on making sure that that matters, because, of course, the finances of this country also contribute into how we are tackling our climate change and environmental commitments. Right. So it's important he has that focus too. OK. Therese Coffey, currently the Environment Minister, thanks for joining us this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.